I thought one of the coolest things that I've seen kind of from our world is when you were on the cover of Guitar World a couple years ago. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you were the first YouTuber to be on the cover of a guitar magazine.
Correct.
I believe.
Correct.
Which was a really cool like milestone. How did that actually happen, and why are you holding an acoustic guitar on the cover?
So, that I for sure was the first YouTuber on Guitar World. I don't know if it was every guitar magazine, but for sure Guitar World. That happened. I pretty much got a message from my manager one day that said, "Hey, Martin Acoustics and Guitar World want to do a combined piece with you." Okay. I don't know why. I've never really ever played an acoustic, but they wanted, so I was like, okay, sure. We'll do it. So we flew down to Nazareth, Pennsylvania, and that's where I believe the Martin headquarters is. So we went there, and then the photo shoot was actually done at the Martin headquarters. So it was
that's why Taylor Swift plays Martin's, because she's from Pennsylvania.
Oh, is that true?
Yes, it is. Oh, I think so. I mean, she is from Pennsylvania.
Oh.
But anyway.
I didn't know that. But yeah, so it was like a joint thing. And so we went to the Martin factory, did the photo shoot there with the Martin guitar. And then Guitar World was like, all right, cool, we'll throw it on the cover. And that was basically it. I really didn't pursue that at all. It was just something that, my manager texted me one day and said, "Hey, there's this opportunity. You want to do it?" And I was like, "The cover Guitar World? Yeah, for sure. That'd be pretty cool. I definitely want to do that." So yeah, that was fun. That was something that like I was very excited for, that I feel like when I announced it, people weren't very excited about it. It was weird because like I was doing that was like
that
the period.
Surprises me.
Yeah, it was a little weird. Like I was a period of time where I was doing like a video every day or video every other day. And like, I remember like I had a specific view count, and then I posted that video of like, "Oh, I'm on the cover," whatever, like, "Here it is, check it out, blah, blah, this is blah, blah." And it got like a third of the views of everything else. And it just seemed like it was so overlooked. And I was like, oh, well, I guess it's, maybe people don't care about magazines as much, like the younger generation than I would, growing up.
But it's still pretty cool.
It was cool for me because it's like I grew up, reading Guitar World, and you'd get the little DVDs of the instructional, guitar stuff. I'd watch those all the time. And so I spent years doing that. Never once thought I would be in a place to actually be on one. So, I mean, I'm just very grateful for that. It was very, very cool experience. For sure.
It's interesting how like people who kind of come up in the old media, like print and TV and stuff like that, they all struggle to like be relevant on the internet. And then people who come up on the internet, they all want to be relevant they're like, "I'm on TV." Right. And they're like, "Yeah, but 50,000 people saw that. You get 50,000 views in a day on YouTube." Yeah, but it's TV.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more official. Right.
It's not at all. But
right. Oh, like yeah, totally. For sure. It's just like, well, that kind of happened with me with my dad, where it was like, oh, blah, blah. And then, like YouTube views, like, oh, you got like millions of views. Like, oh, that's cool. Whatever. Like, he just doesn't quite understand it. But then there's things where it's like, you're on the
local news or something.
Yeah. Or like I had an interaction on Instagram with the ZZ Top guy. I cannot remember his name.
Billy Gibbons or the other guy?
Yes, Billy Gibbons. And where he played that monstrosity guitar.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That had like the J on it or whatever. Right. And I was like, hey, that's kind of like that's the guitar that the dude made for me or whatever. They, I think I had like my face on it or something somewhere. And at least at one point. But definitely had a J on it. And so I made a comment about that. And so then I had this conversation with him, and he's really nice. And I was like, "Oh, it's funny that you're doing that. It's really cool." And so then I told my dad, I was like, "Yeah, I talked to the ZZ Top guy." He's like, "What? You talked to the Z? That's great. That's so cool. Oh, that's so crazy." you know, so or like being on the cover of a magazine where he's like, oh wow, I guess you're actually like official now, huh? You know, where nothing else mattered
It's like, yeah,
at
I had
all.
500 million views before this happened, but
Yeah, like
okay.
nothing else mattered. It was like, oh, you're on the cover of a magazine. That's my son. You know, like
Right.
it's just funny. But yeah, I think you always want what you don't have as far as like
Right.
if you
Right.
grow up on, you know, internet, you want to be in the real world so you feel more like official. And if you're more
Right.
official, you're more like, oh, you know, like this is just we'll just do this and this is fine. Like you don't care so much. Or maybe you do. I don't know.
Well, I mean, those people are making these like desperate TikToks trying to like grow a following there. And it's like, because they're like, well, nobody watches TV anymore. I got to be big on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's what you
Yeah.
said. It's just people want what they don't have.
Well, everyone wants attention, you know. That's like a basic human thing. So it's just like how people go about it, you know.